Hello, I'm back. Told you guys, daily uploads. Wasn't lying about that. Channel's been performing quite well, actually. So first off, I just want to say thank you guys, every single one of you. I've got 31 subscribers now. I just created this account like 3 days ago. Don't know crazy much about YouTube. Don't know a crazy amount about YouTube, but in my opinion, that's pretty good. So obviously, that's you guys doing that. So thank you. That's a big thing. Trying to change the color of the lights every video. Let me know what you guys think about that. Just trying to, switch it up a bit. But today's topic, less is more. And it's going to be talking about balance. I might get into balance in another video, but let's get right into it because I know you guys didn't click this to hear me talk about random stuff. Less is more. Now, first of all, what is more? I consider more, in this sense, in the self-improvement sense, to be doing too much. There was a point in time in my own life where I was accounting for every single minute of the day. That's not a joke and that's not an exaggeration. I would wake up on the minute, I would meditate on the minute, and then I'd work out. Not a minute later, not a minute earlier would I, begin or quit. Begin or stop, not quit. Quit's the wrong word. I don't quit. Begin or stop. Then, on the minute, I'd eat my meal or do whatever it was. I think it was deep work. I can't remember because this was a good little bit ago. But I was doing every little thing on the minute. I have a calculator here. I guess this will work as a second phone. I'm using my second phone to hold up this phone. Long story, but I had every single little thing on a checklist all the way down my phone. And it felt amazing for like a month. Then I overwhelmed myself. There's no like fancier way to put that. I overwhelmed myself. It's not like the work was too hard. It's not like I hated it. If anything, I loved it. I enjoyed it. Truly. But it was just sticking to such a strict, tight schedule long term like that isn't sustainable. It's not. I'm sure there's some of you who may have done that. I'm sure there's other people who may have done that. But under the circumstance, when it's just, you don't have a boss, you don't have anybody overlooking you, guiding you, it's just you holding you responsible, and everything is up to you, following every little thing by the minute like that is absurd. And this is generalized. I'm not just saying in that specific example. That's just my example, one of them. It's just, I'm trying to make this more generalized because you can't do too much. You can't do more than you think you can, if that makes sense. And I'm sure plenty of online gurus are going to tell me that sounds stupid. That sounds wrong. If you really want it that bad, you won't care about the circumstances. You'll love the grind, this and that. I did love the grind. That's the thing. I enjoyed it so much. It's just, it was so strict and, tight, I guess, on schedule, that eventually, if I missed a day, that would turn into 2. And that would turn into 3. And a tree falls the way it leans. You start missing days too much, your consistency tree is going down. Your habit tree, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I consider more, is burnout. Jumping straight into something. That's why, in one of my previous videos, I advocated so hard for taking baby steps and everything. Because if you don't do that, and you just jump straight into it, you'll get burnt out. Sorry, whatever these gurus tell you, you're a human being at the end of the day. And chances are you don't have experience running a business or being on a super tight schedule. If you do, that's awesome. Hats off to you. I respect you. But I respect you for that. But, this is for people on their self-improvement journey. So if you're on your journey, chances are you don't already have that super tight, strict schedule that you can follow. Down the line, of course you can. Of course. I mean, you have responsibilities and, things like that. You're going to be following a tight schedule. That's normal, right? But it's just, you gotta be careful of burnout. Burnout's a serious obstacle that will strike you blind. It did it to me. I don't even want to talk about how many times. Now let's talk about less. What do I mean by less? Less is more. I would just want to pick apart this topic one by one so it's easier to understand. What is less? Less is not being too hard on yourself. Less is balance. And I know you've probably heard from other gurus on like Instagram or whatever, balance is you need to be extreme about your goals, your dreams, things like that. That's true, but just hear me out. Please, just hear me out on this. You need balance, especially if you're someone like me who actually wants the most out of life. Because I believe so many people's views on the most out of life are so narrow. Like, I need to be making $1 million a month, and I need to be driving a Lamborghini 24/7. People's views and their goals on what true success is different. My version of success is just experiencing the most amount of life that I can. Obviously, to some, exceptions, because there are things I don't want to experience. I don't want to experience getting hit by a train and surviving. Or either way, I don't want to experience getting hit by a train or dying, but you know what I mean, right? So, sorry, I really strayed off there. I gotta get better at that. I have ADHD and I'm kind of new to this whole content thing, so bear with me, please. But less is the ability to balance your life. Less is the ability to have an off day and not beat yourself up about it. That is a big okay, I'm not going to play with the calculator. That is a big thing that I've always had a problem with. The way I got brought up, I was always the very podium child, I guess, perfect child, whatever you want to call it, right? Always getting praised, blah, 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 blah. And I'm saying this because once you get older, everyone thinks that'd be amazing, right? And I'm sure to a degree it is, but after a certain point, you being a little kid, you're impressionable. You start to believe, I need to be the best at every single thing. Because I've grown up being the top of my class, I've grown up being naturally good at things. I don't actually truly believe you're naturally good at things, but different video topic. I'm always the top at everything, so now I need to be the top at everything. And that mindset will not take you very far. I've only recently leaped the obstacle of burnout and truly started to understand it fully. I feel like I've always understood it, but I'd understand it and then I would still get burnt out a month later. It's so you've got to be very careful to still do the things you enjoy, right? Life isn't worth living if it's full of suffering. That is, my whole mindset before was just, I'm going to suffer as much as I need to so everyone else around me can be happy. I'm going to suffer as much as I need to building this business so my future family can have whatever they want. And while I still do believe that and I'm still willing to do that, my goal changed from suffering for everybody to providing for everybody, if that makes sense. And the first half, I'm associating suffering with providing, right? Like someone in the equation has to suffer. Now that I have grown from that, which was not long ago, might I add, I realize no one in the equation has to suffer. I'll have hard days, right? I'll have sleepless nights. I'll probably get haters and backlash eventually on this. But that's fine. It comes with it. That doesn't mean I'm suffering. If anything, you should find the good in things and realize that things like that could be like your battle scars or things that'll help you grow as a person, You don't have to suffer to reach your goals and your dreams. That's such a big misconception that's pushed on everybody through social media now. It took its toll on me, and I'm trying to tell you guys right now so it doesn't take your toll on you. Its toll on you, sorry. You need to realize you can have balance. This is towards people who are in the 14 to 20 age range. 20 might be stretching it a little bit, but you can still be a teenager or a kid, whatever you want to call it. Like, you're allowed to live life. You're allowed to have fun sometimes. You're allowed to play video games sometimes. As long as it's in moderation. Sure, you've heard that plenty of times too, but seriously, like, it's kind of like, if you actually read the nutrients labels on most American foods, most of them aren't even that calorie dense. They're definitely calorie dense. But the servings is what I'm talking about. They're small. Like, in a sitting, you're supposed to eat like 2 or 3 Oreos. If everybody went by that, no one would be obese, for the most part. You know what I mean? You can still enjoy your life and have fun while becoming successful. You don't need to fucking be super harsh on yourself and suffer all the damn time. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't overdo it. Don't spend 3 hours at the gym. Don't spend 14 hours a day working on real estate. Trust me about that one. But jokes aside, like, actually, don't spend, I don't know, 8 to 12 hours a day working on your business. I mean, you can, by all means, right? It works for some people. But I'm being generalized here and speaking to most. Don't read for 3 hours. Read for 30 minutes, you know? You don't need 12 hours of kind of working and looking at your phone. You would need like 2 to 4 hours of genuine deep work where you're fully focused. Quality over quantity is huge. Truly. I only read like maybe 10-ish pages a day. But I like really soak up and absorb the information and make sure I understand what I'm reading. So there might be someone out there who's reading, I don't know, what's a realistic, over-exaggerated number? Realistic enough, like 30 pages? 30 to 50 pages a day. 50 is 30 pages a day, right? But they're not really soaking up what they're reading. They're kind of just reading it to say they read. That's a fucking tongue twister. They're reading it just to say they read. Okay, there we go. So, I guess I could have just honestly made that the title is quality over quantity, right? But I'm not going to start a whole new topic and drag this video out. You need to understand, you should have pressure, but positive pressure. Not everything is going to be ruined if I don't get rich. And that's selective. There are a few people where they might die if they don't get rich, because for some reason, like, they'll starve or something. If that applies to you, then by all means, use that negative energy and use it to propel yourself forward. But most people are probably like me, right? Still teenagers, still at their parents' place. They don't have pressure. They don't. I kind of have my own artificial pressure. Like, dive in a little bit personal here. I don't like how hard my dad works. And I kind of put that on myself. Right. So, that was a big, deep negative pressure that I still hold with me to this day. But I don't, spend all day beating myself up over it or anything like that. It's just something that's like, okay, I don't want to get lazy and complacent because I could retire him if I truly work hard enough and I focus. I have my off days still. I really do. I have days sometimes where I won't do anything productive. Given it's not like a once a week kind of thing. It's quite rare at the point in my life I'm at now. But still, like, it happens. Like, I'll hang out with friends And then the next thing I know, the whole day went by. I didn't get anything done. And what do? I take it on the chin, and I keep moving forward. Because it's what you have to do. That is such a big lesson. If you learn, it will take you so far. If you can just roll with the punches and not... Like, imagine you're pouring water into a glass, right? And you miss just a little bit of water out of the glass and a little bit spills on your counter. What are you going to do from there? Like, pause in time. Are you going to just correct it and keep pouring the water in the glass? Or are you going to be like, oh my, you know what, whatever, and just pour the whole water on the counter? That sounds stupid, right? It's the exact same thing with your habits if you're too hard on yourself. If you miss a drop, if you miss a day, right, that doesn't mean you beat yourself up and ruin your mindset and think all negatively, because then you're more likely to miss another day. You need to be able to sit there and say, okay, I fucked up. It won't happen again. Literally, that's it. That's it. The amount of times I've made a mistake and just said, okay, that's fine. I'll learn from it moving forward. Or it won't happen again. Genuinely, that sentence is like magic. So you need to understand, you have pressure, right? Because you don't have infinite time. But you need to remain positive throughout all of it. And you need to understand quality over quantity. Don't just work 12 hours to say you work 12 hours. Don't just read 30 pages to say you read 30 pages. Do things with purpose. It doesn't... If you see someone on the internet say, I worked 14 hours today, don't worry about it. It's you versus you. Their chapter 100 versus your chapter 3. So, be 1% better every day. Improve against yourself. Compare you against yourself yesterday. And understand, less is more.